everybody, my name is Jeanette Johnson and I am the Executive Director for Keep Lincoln County Beautiful. Today I am going to talk to you about littering. Littering is when you find things like bottles, cans, and other trash on the ground outside. What we need to do, instead of throwing our trash or throwing our recyclables on the ground, is take those items to a recycling bin or put them in the trash can. We want to make sure that we're not littering. When we litter, it can harm things like our environment because it can get into our water systems and make our water supply dirty. It can harm our wildlife, and it can also harm other community members, and we don't want to be doing that. So today, we're going to be reading Retrieving with Evie. Retrieving with Evie was written by Susan Harp and illustrated by John Sow. And we want to thank MT Publishing for letting us read this book, and also Keep Evansville Beautiful in Indiana, who partners with Susan Harp. Retrieving with Evie. We've even got Evie's little potograph here. Welcome to Labrador Lane. My name is Evie, and I want to share my story with you. I am a yellow Labrador Retriever who lives with my human family in Evansville, Indiana. Labrador Lane is located in the woods along Pigeon Creek. A lot of wildlife share my special place. Turtles, rabbits, squirrels, ducks, geese, foxes, deer, owls, and great blue herons keep me busy. I like to swim in my very own lake and run all around my big yard, but sometimes I have to take obedience lessons. My daddy says I have to learn how to be a good citizen, even though I'm just a little puppy. My daddy says I'm a good girl and so smart. I can sit, stay, lie down, walk on a leash, and retrieve. I love to retrieve best of all. Sometimes I show my wildlife friends the lessons I have learned. One day, my daddy took me to the Ohio River. I got so excited when I saw all that water. I tried really hard not to jump in, but I just couldn't resist all those big sticks floating along the bank. I loved retrieving those sticks, but then something shiny bobbed up and down right in front of my nose. Since I'm so smart, I remembered what that shiny thing was. My family puts those shiny things into a big blue box. Yes, it was a soda can, just like the ones my family recycles. I made my retrieve and took the prize to my daddy. He was very proud of me, but he said that I could cut my mouth trying to retrieve those cans. He was telling me that we could take it home to recycle, but I had already plunged back into the water. I couldn't believe my luck. Soda cans were floating everywhere. I didn't know which one to grab first. Just then, I heard my daddy say, "Evie, you can't retrieve all those cans. We would be here all day, and you could get hurt. Maybe some of our friends will help us retrieve these cans another day." I didn't really like leaving those cans, but I had to be a good citizen and obey my daddy. It was lunchtime, so we drove up to one of those places that hands you a sack full of food out of the window. I loved to stick my head out of the car and drool at those nice people. As we were leaving, I saw a man drop his yummy sack on the ground. I got so excited that I barked to let that man know I would gladly retrieve his sack. As Daddy stopped the car to pick up the sack, I forgot my good girl manners. I jumped out and had that sack in my mouth before Daddy could get out of his seatbelt. I looked all around for the man who dropped his sack. He was gone, and to my surprise, so was the food in the sack. I was really confused. My family always puts our empty sacks in the kitchen trash can at home. I'm sure they do this so I can walk by and sniff for a few days. Then I spotted 2 more sacks and wondered if the food was still in them. I looked around for the owners of those sacks because I was convinced these people didn't know their sacks were missing. Maybe they saw me retrieve the empty sack and wanted to leave me sacks with food. You know, I always did get special rewards in obedience school for retrieving. My thoughts were quickly interrupted as Daddy took the sack from my mouth. He knew. He threw it into the trash bin. That was just a few steps away from where I found all those sacks. "Evie, you can't retrieve everything around this place. We would be here all day, and you could get sick. Maybe some of our friends will help us retrieve these sacks another day." I felt kind of sad. I hung my head out the window on our drive home. I kept sniffing the air when we were driving on the Lloyd Expressway, but I kept thinking about all those things I didn't retrieve. I didn't understand why people would throw or drop things if they weren't playing retrieve. I felt a little better when some kids waved at me as their car passed us. Ouch! I felt a little sting on my nose, and then it really started to hurt. I whimpered for a moment, and then I just let out a howl. My daddy pulled over to see what had happened, and he saw the smoke coming from the car seat. I had been hit by a cigarette butt. Those kids who waved at me were nice, but some adult in that car had thrown out a cigarette out when they passed us. My daddy put some cool water on my nose, and he said my fur was going to be okay. I didn't feel like sniffing any more air until we got to Labrador Lane. I knew I wouldn't have to worry about litter bugs throwing fire at me once I got home. The only kind of bugs that and fire would be from the fireflies that I like to chase in my backyard. That night, before bedtime, my daddy said he had been thinking about what a good citizen I was. I had tried to retrieve the trash that people had left, but it was more litter than I could retrieve alone. He said, "Evie, let's call our friends at Keep Evansville Beautiful, and together we can spread the word." My daddy and I were both wagging our tails and dancing around the room. As we were dancing, my daddy gave a cheer. Evie, E-V-I-E. But then he stopped because he had another great idea. Evie, your name can send a message to our friends. Every volunteer is essential in keeping Evansville beautiful. Now I know why I am so smart. I'm my daddy's little girl. Help Evie retrieve litter. They're going to keep Evansville beautiful together. And we can keep Lincoln County beautiful together too. So just remember, take your trash and throw your trash away into the trash can. Or if you're going to recycle, put it in the recycling bin. But never put it on the ground.
All right, everyone, it's time for our next book. We're going to read Early Bird by Toni Yelley. Thanks, Macmillan, for letting us read this book. Early Bird likes to wake up early. She stands as tall as she can, takes a deep breath of fresh morning air, and then Early Bird gets going. Across the grass, through the flower bed, under the spider web, up the path, around the corner, and over the cat. Finally, Early Bird reaches the garden where she finds the early worm. Early Bird is hungry after her long journey. So she lays the early worm on top of a big, fat, juicy strawberry. And together they share an early breakfast. Oh, look, they're singing together. The end. Nature's all around us. What's your favorite animal to see when you look outside? I'll see you guys later.